Okay, welcome everybody back to Steve Talks Boxing X STBX, and welcome to the Roundup with Darren show, May edition. But this show we're going to also incorporate the 5 versus 5 card this Saturday, and of course, joining me is Darren. He's back again. Thanks for coming on.
Back again, Steve. Great to be on the monthly show to talk about an epic month of boxing we've had.
What a month. I must admit, it's
Brilliant.
probably one of the biggest months for a while, isn't it, really? So,
Oh, yeah.
So obviously looking forward to that and talking about also Saturday's show as well. Let's straight get into the Roundup show review, Darren. Who was your fighter of the month in May and why?
I think I can only think of one man, that is, and that's Alexander Usyk. It wasn't one of them where like he was going under the radar or anything like that, but he absolutely put on a fantastic performance against Tyson Fury, of course, who we knew was undefeated. Yeah. A lot of people thought Tyson Fury was too big, too strong. Usyk won't get inside. Fury's going to hurt Usyk to the body, and he tore that script up, and he done it in a brilliant fashion. And yeah, he's got to be the fighter of the month for me. There was a few candidates could have been, but there's only one man for me, and that is Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, I was going to say potentially maybe fighter of the year. I don't know if we're going to do a yearly roundup show, but
I'll be back on for that if you want me to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was thinking for, obviously he come from cruiserweight, unified that, and then come up to unified the heavyweight. So massive achievement there.
Exactly that, mate. He's a born winner. If you look at his record, he's Olympic gold, World Championship gold, unified the cruiserweight division, took every belt, done the same at heavyweight. And some people are saying, has he achieved it all now? Does he need a rematch? Can he retire?
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, because I love to see him in the ring, I hope he doesn't. But if he does, hats off to him. But I think we are going to get to see the rematch, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so. And there was talk of maybe the him keeping the IBF belt as well, wasn't there? I'm not sure how far.
I hope he does.
Yeah, how far? Obviously, I'm sure probably AJ, and we're later going to talk about Hrgovic and Dubois as well. Maybe they won't be so happy with that decision there, so not freeing that up anyway. So moving on, who was your promoter of the month and why?
I think because what we've just seen last weekend with Fury and Usyk, you've got to say Frank Warren, because we went on for a long time. Me and you, there he is.
There he is.
Some people say he's the greatest of all time as a promoter. I mean, he's been around a long time. He finally got us the fight over the line that we've all been waiting for. I mean, obviously Turkey Al Sheikh's a big part of that, but
yeah,
me and you were back up. What's that? Sorry.
And the money as well.
Of course, yeah, that helps. I mean, me and you were back and forth since this show's began, saying, "Are we going to see it? Do you think it'll happen?" Then we've been let down, but we finally got to see it. And he helped. He's a big part of getting that over the line with the money from Turkey. And I'm also domestically, we've had a massive show announced for the Magnificent Seven again in Birmingham, which is my neck of the woods. There's some fantastic fights on that card, of course, which is going to be a co-main event with Leon Davis and Shabazz Massoud.
Yeah,
and then we've got obviously Adelai Dacres on the card, Owen Cooper versus Echo Esserman. So it's not just worldwide in Saudi. He's putting on some domestic bangers as well, and that card for me is absolutely superb. So I think Frank's got to get promoted of the month.
Yeah, I think Frank's maybe getting better with age, So he certainly went through maybe a sort of a lull, and then obviously he's delivering again, isn't he? I think with the whole sort of like maybe the Box Nation thing went, and I know Box Nation is back again, but I think he did have a quite a relatively quite stable maybe for a while, but obviously he's got some great fighters in that stable now, and he's definitely up there again, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, not just Frank Warren. For a short period, boxing on the whole in the UK, we had some decent enough cards, but it went a little bit flat, I thought, for a while.
We had a bit of a lull, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We can all like big some of the cards up and that, but I do think we went for a bit of a lull. But when you look at like what we've got, we've had with the Saudis, and again this coming weekend where we've got like the 5 versus 5. As long as you can have them shows in Saudi, and we get some absolute domestic cracking cards like he's announced for Birmingham. Yeah, Magnificent Seven again. I mean, that's a great theme. That is, they're very good cards. They're Magnificent Sevens.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone, I know, most people want the big fights, but to me, some of the domestic fights are some of the better ones. Sometimes, you know, you can't have Usyk versus Fury every weekend, can you?
Unfortunately, no.
We'd like to as fans, but realistically, the domestic fights are there. Obviously, for reason to move these guys on as well. But, you know, like I said, there's some great domestic fights there. Next question for you, Darren. What was your boxing controversy of the month, would you say, this month?
Well, we could have had a few of these. I mean, this weekend just gone, we could have had a scorecard for Tyler Cattrall. That could have been a big talking point. But I think for what it was, I'm going to go again, probably Fury Usyk, because the big. I mean, it's not just the scorecards in that fight where, you know, some people gave it a draw, some people nicked it to Fury. I personally gave it to Usyk by 3 rounds, but there's no doubt about it. It was a boxing controversy as regards to scorecards. But another thing is the round 9. Should the fight have been stopped? For me, it possibly could have been, but it was a big talking point of the fight. Whereas lots of people I spoke to 100% think that fight should have been stopped. I don't know what your views are on it.
Yeah, well, I mentioned this to Rob on last week's show. He was literally pillar to post. Steve Bunt said it was if it weren't a unification fight, I think that would have been stopped personally. And we know, maybe the referee knows, Fury's got remarkable recovery powers. We've seen it with Wilder when he's gone down, he's back up. But yeah, if that wasn't, personally, from my point of view, if that wasn't a unification fight, I think the ref may have stopped that and would have stopped that. So
yeah, I think you could have a good point with that. I mean, some people have said, who cares what fight it was? If the fight should be stopped, the fight should be stopped. But when you've got the money on the line and what that fight was about, I can see like where a lot of people are coming from saying, oh, because of the fight it was.
Well, I saw online after the reaction, like from some people on Twitter, saying that Usyk should have got the KO and stuff like that. I said, come on, it's happened now. You got the win, so
yeah, that's the main thing for me. I think it'd have been a lot worse if Usyk didn't win the fight on the cards and they'd give it Fury. I think it would have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad the right man won. But yeah, that's the main one for me. But I just want to pick up on a little bit about the scorecards for Tyler Cattrall too.
Yeah,
117, 111 twice. Oh my days!
Is it a bit of, you know, the class in it repeat or revenge? So it's kind of a bit of revenge on that scoring, isn't it? Really, because
it does make you wonder: are they looking at the first fight? Definitely.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, for me personally, I had Cattrall winning the fight by a couple of rounds. I don't really think. I mean, I've seen lots of people. I don't really think that Taylor could have any argument about winning that fight, but I've seen like lots of
close
pundits like Tony Bellew saying it could have been a draw in that. But the main point for me is, how do you get 2 scorecards, 117, 111? It was nowhere near that. It was a close fight. Cattrall nicked it by a round or 2 for me, but not the 117, 111.
Like I said, it's almost ironic, isn't it? Really, looking back at the first fight and, you know, the scoring there, but that was just as bad, if you ask me. That wide scoring was there. So, but yeah, you're right in saying. I wonder if they're going to investigate it. A lot of the rounds were close, weren't they? So I don't know. It's a hard one, but I was on initial. I'll probably have to rewatch it again. 117, 111. Wow, that's wide, isn't it?
Shockers. Absolute shockers they are.
Sure. Moving on to June, what fights are you looking forward to next month? I know you mentioned obviously Frank as well, card there.
Well, the main one's got to be the 5 versus 5, haven't it?
Five,
What we've got
obvious.
coming up.
Yeah, I was going to say, was
Oh
that an
God.
obvious, obvious
Yeah,
answer?
it's a cracking card as we're going to come on to that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the main one for me, really. There's
this
also
one.
the Matchroom Cup.
Mhm.
That's it. Some absolute crackers on there. My main pick, really, for me, like in the heavyweight division more than anything, I've got to say Wilder and Zhang. That's
Yeah.
fireworks for me, and I might come to eat my words, but I can't see
Okay.
that one going the distance. I
All,
don't
all,
think.
all will be revealed soon.
Yeah.
Looking now, you mentioned Saturday show. How disappointed are you that we're not actually seeing Better BF Bivol this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in that. I mean, to have the 5 versus 5 topped off by Beterbiev and Bivol, it was just like it was I mean, it's a very good card as we know, but that
Yeah,
was the icing on the cake. Really, it is
I
very
was about to say
disappointing.
that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very very disappointing. But things happen, injuries happen, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles with boxing sometimes. I mean, as long it could be like Fury Usyk, we might not see it when they're saying, but it might be next year. But I think eventually we will get to see it, which is the main thing. But yeah, it's very very disappointing not to have that this weekend coming.
Yeah, I was going to say I've not seen a date of or even a proposed date of a rematch as yet. So maybe they're waiting until Saturday's done and maybe announce it. I'm not sure. Maybe perhaps
I don't know if it was rumor. I think I saw it was like October or November or something
October,
like
November. Yeah.
that. Yeah,
One
not too
thing
long.
does, yeah, one thing does worry me about Beterbiev is obviously he's getting a bit older and he's picking up injuries. And when the fight was announced, I thought, yeah, Beterbiev, I think he'll beat Bivol. But I'm slightly changing my mind now and thinking, how good are those training camps? How much toll on his body he's taking now? So I'm kind of 50-50 on that. So
And the fight is a 50-50 for me. I mean,
yeah.
I've been on the fence for a hell of a long time with that fight.
Mm.
I mean, some people say, "Oh, you've got the puncher versus the boxer," but for me, Beterbiev's a very good boxer
They're
anyway.
both.
So it's nip and tuck, isn't it? Very tough one to like predict. That one is.
Okay, Bivol's still fighting. He's fighting Malik Zanaid, I think it was pronounced. I don't blame him for it. He wants to carry on fighting, doesn't he? Do you know what we can expect from Zanaid? Zanaid, I think it is.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've had to do my research on this guy.
Okay,
I haven't really heard too much about him. I've had a look at his record. He's got a couple of guys on his record that he's beat that are in like the top 20. Fair enough. He's going to roll the dice and take his chance. I mean, I'm expecting, Bivol to come through it comfortably, but you just never know. This guy, he's got nothing to lose. He's just going to come on the card and give it his best shot. But his record suggests he's a very good puncher. But I think you've also got to look at, is his record padded a little bit?
Yeah.
But we'll find out Saturday.
Yeah. I think obviously it's a ticking over fight for Bivol, didn't he? He wants to fight. He's obviously had a training camp ready to fight, and then obviously it's falling through. He still wants to fight, which is good in a way. And rather than wait for Beterbiev, keep him active, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's move on to the 5 versus 5. You may be aware or may not be aware. Me and Darren have a side bet on this one, and basically the good picture. I tried to keep it arranged, but basically,
whose is the point? Whose is the half?
that could be yours, Darren. I think. Basically, the closest prediction for the fights wins, and the loser must buy the beers and snacks. Maybe not the half pint there.
I don't do half measures, mate.
I don't do it. Yeah, I know. Maybe the missus, maybe a half measure, but I don't know. Actually, I say that. Take that back. She drinks pints. So, but yeah, that's the deal. So we're gonna go through all our predictions, talk about a bit about the fights. We're gonna score it as well. But just to remind everyone how the system works, wins for the fighters count for 1 point. Although that will be doubled for knockout or TKO. And it's double points for the captains. We'll refresh everyone's memory on the captains as well. So you may want to pause the video for a moment, grab a pen and paper if you want to come and play along with our predictions as well. The first fight we're going to talk about, I'm not sure on a running order, but I kind of predicted this running order. Austin Williams, who's a Matchroom fighter, against Hamza Shiraz Queensbury. He's also the captain. So what do you reckon on this one, Darren?
I think we're going to have a distance fight here, and I think I'm going to go for Hamza Shiraz on points. I think
points, okay.
Obviously, with his big, he's tall, and I think he's going to grow into the fight and try and get his range and his jab going to judge the distance and that. So, I mean, Amo Williams is a very, very good fighter, but I think Hamza Shiraz is definitely coming into his own now, and I expect Shiraz to outbox him.
Really? Okay.
Probably, yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it won't be. I think it'd be pretty close, but like I say, I'm expecting Hamza Shiraz to grow into the fight, get his range, get his jab going, get his distance working, and I expect him to win on points.
Yeah. When I heard this first announcer's fight, I was thinking, no way it's going to be points. No way. You've gone against my theory here. These guys, you know, they both can bang, so they can knock out people. And when I thought this is a straight shootout for me. I don't see it going points. I'd be surprised if it does go points. So that's interesting to hear you say that. You think Shiraz is going to outbox him as well.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And obviously Shiraz is the captain. So my view on this one, I think Queensbury will go for that knockout, and I'll say a Shiraz knockout for me. So that's 4 points in the bag straight away for Queensbury. Double points, double points. So 4 bags. And
that's a packet of crisps for you. That's a packet of crisps for you for the start.
Yeah, so that could be, some mini cheddars or something maybe.
Yeah.
And you've gone, obviously, Queensbury, 1 point for the win, double for the captain. So it's 2 points to Queensbury on that opening fight. Next fight, we got Craig Richards against Willie Hutchison. Craig Richards is Matchroom, to remind everyone. Willie Hutchison is Queensbury. So, how do you see that fight going?
I like Willie Hutchinson. He's very he's an up and coming fighter. I like what I see, but I sort of feel like this one is sort of like an old manning job sort of thing from Craig Richards. I feel like he's going to have a bit too much experience at this stage for Willie Hutchinson. But I think it's another one that will probably go the distance, and I expect Craig Richards to probably win. I'll go win on points.
Win on points. Okay, so
just sort of like experience to tell.
Yeah, I can see that. You're right. Richards is very experienced, and the way you started this one, Darren, we could be in for a long night.
I know. Yeah, I know. Everyone's thinking, I hope it ain't going to go like that.
Yeah, hope it ain't going to. My prediction for this one, I agree with you. I went with Richards on points. So, again, 1 point to the Matchroom guys there as well. Moving on to the next one. And this is an interesting one again. Raymond Ford.
Great fight. Really great fight.
Who's a Matchroom fighter against Nick Ball, who's a Queensbury fighter. So, how do you see this one going?
Very, very explosive. But there's a big butt coming. I do think because of
your big butt.
I think it's another one that's going to go the distance. To be honest with you,
we are in for a long night then.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, when people hear me say that very explosive, I don't see either of them getting stopped because I think they're both very, very tough fighters. But I probably am going to edge this to Ray Ford on points because I just think sometimes Nick Ball is very exciting to watch, but I think it takes him a bit of a while to grow into a fight sometimes as he stepped up the levels.
Yeah.
And I think
he's unlucky with that jaw, wasn't he? Ball, wasn't he? So.
Definitely. But I think he's a bit of I think he's got like one way of fighting. He like tucks up, comes forward. But I think Ray Ford's very highly skilled, and I expect him to nick it on points.
Okay.
So very long night, as you say.
Yeah. So far, you predicted the opening 3 fights to go the distance. So we're going to need lots of beers and snacks for this one.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. I've gone for different. I've agreed with you, Ford, but I've gone knockout this time. So 2
I don't
points.
see Nick Ball getting stopped, though. We don't.
Really? Okay.
No.
That's interesting.
No.
What? Just too tough, or?
Yeah, I think they'll both land. And like I say, I think they're both very explosive. But I think both of them are like very. Yeah. I think both of them are very tough.
Well, there was a bit of an argument there. Has Nick Ball really been in, with a caliber of a Raymond Ford, Ray Ford, really?
No, not yet. But
Well, you
I
could
just
say
can
vice versa,
see.
really. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant fight. This is probably going to be one of the best fights, one of the best fights on the card. They're both going to come forward. They're both going to be explosive. But I think Ray Ford will slightly have the better boxing skills than Nick Ball.
Yeah, hence why I just think outboxing and then
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Moving on, we got Filip Hrgović, who's a matchroom fighter against Daniel Dubois. He's a Queensbury fighter. Yeah, again, an interesting one here. What's your thinking behind this one, Darren?
Well, the good news is this one ain't going the distance.
Yes, we could get a earlier night maybe.
That's good for all the viewers. Yeah. I think Hrgović is going to knock Dubois out. I think he can be a bit lackluster at times. I think he can be a bit lazy. I think he can sort of like coast his way through a fight, but I think he knows what's on the line here coming forward. Basically, he wins this fight. He's fighting Joshua at Wembley in September, which he's looking like, if this ain't for the IBF, that one will be. So I am expecting Hrgović to do a job here, and I don't think Dubois is going to be able to take his power.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've gone with Hrgović, but points this time. So I just see him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I see it. I think Dubois will have his moments. I certainly feel, because I don't think Hrgović, a lot of people are still not 100% on him, are they? Really, they're not sold on him as a heavyweight. We've seen on past performances. Yeah,
he's a bit lazy at times.
Yeah, sometimes he scrapes through fights, doesn't he? Really, so. Scraping through fights and managing, obviously he gets the wins, but nothing what's going to think, wow, this guy is one to watch. He's a top heavyweight fighter, which he is, but obviously we've not really seen one of them fights. We're thinking, hang on, step back a bit, Hrgović, let's take him serious now, I think.
I just think when Dubois, I agree with what you're saying totally, but I just think Dubois, when he feels the power, I'm not saying he's going to quit like he has in the past, but I do think when he feels the power, I don't think he's going to be able to take it, because I don't think Dubois takes the shot well, to be honest.
Sure, yeah, and I don't know how much you can judge from that. The last outing with Miller, how much you can take from Miller. Really, is he a legit heavyweight? I don't know really.
Well, I big Miller up a little bit, saying he's all wrong for Dubois. But, so don't take my prediction. Second with a pinch of salt. Okay. But if he done what he usually does, he fought the wrong fight, Miller. I do think if he'd have been a bit more active, I think he'd have put the smoke on Dubois a little bit more. But I think he was a bit just too inactive and just didn't really put it on Dubois as much as he should have.
Sure. At the moment, I've got it level 4-all. Matchroom and Queensbury, 4 points all going into the last fight. You, Darren, you've got it 2 to Queensbury, 4 to Matchroom at the moment going into the last fight. And the last fight, I think it is the last fight on the card. Like I said, I've not seen the running order yet, but I assume it will be.
I think it will be before.
Yeah, I think it will be, just to have people hanging on. Is obviously Deontay Wilder, who's a Matchroom fighter and captain, against Zhilei Zhang, Queensbury fighter. How do you see this one going?
Well, this is the one where I have been back and forth, going over and over, thinking I can't sit on the fence anymore.
No, it's
because of what
you can't.
Yeah, I've got to come up with it.
Yeah.
No, this is another one. I don't think it will go the distance, but because of what it is, and because Eddie's put the pressure on him with being the captain. I'm looking for Wilder. I think Wilder will stop Zhang. And I don't think anything like, oh, Wilder's back or anything like that. I just think Wilder probably will be able to stay out of the way for the first 6 rounds. I see this fight a little bit. I think it could go a little bit how Wilder Luis Ortiz went, particularly the second one, where Ortiz.
What maybe Ortiz take a bit of a lead and then.
Yeah. Well, Zhang taking a bit of a lead like Ortiz did, and I think Wilder's going to find the shot. Okay, because one thing that we'll say is Zhang is there to be hit. There's not a lot of head movement. Great boxer, big puncher. But for me, Zhang, there's not a lot of head movement. And I do think Wilder will be able to hit Zhang a lot easier than what he tried to find with Joseph Parker. Because Joseph Parker's on the move all the time. He slips, he slides. Yeah. Whereas Zhang was a bit of a one-trick pony. He walks forward his guard and he's a bit straight. So I think Wilder will find the shot on Zhang. But it's just a case of, will he find it before Zhang finds it?
Yeah. What you think? Just when he lands, that's it. It's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think Zhang will take it. Yeah, I do. But it is a tricky one because there's always that thing if Zhang lands first. But I do think Wilder will get to Zhang probably first before Zhang gets to Wilder. But it could be a case of whoever lands first. But I'm going to stick my neck on the line here and go Wilder knockout.
Wilder knockout. Okay, so and it's such a big fight for both fighters. They're both towards the end of their career. It's a must win, isn't it, for both?
Absolutely.
I think Zhang's actually 41 now. I think Wilder, I don't know, he's 38 or something like that, maybe. So
yeah, they're both at the back end of the careers, really. I mean, they both had brilliant careers. I mean, they're earning a big payday here, but it's like sort of like the loser. Where do they go after this? But there's still probably another payday in Saudi for them. Like, I don't know. I was going to say Zhang loses. He's still got like some decent fights in Saudi, I'd say, because he's that guy, and he's a big puncher. Yeah. He's exciting to watch. Yeah.
My prediction for this, I've gone the other way. I've gone for a Zhang knockout.
Fair enough. No, it's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pick 'em, isn't it? Really. Yeah. I think Wilder's done. I really do think he's done. I think his heart's not in it. His legs are not in it. Always got
to see that.
Yeah. I think Zhang technically is better. And
I agree with that,
he can punch. So I've gone for a Zhang knockout. So that's interesting. I've just added up the points as well. You've got it 8-2 to Matchroom.
Bloody hell, Eddie will be liking that, wouldn't he? Frank won't.
He will be in your DMs saying, thanks, Darren.
Yeah. Now, make sure you hashtag these for me.
I know. Well, I was thinking that. You just called out Frank Warren, the promoter of the month. He won't be happy with that.
I know. He won't be happy with me. Or he'll be going on a mad rant on IFL or something.
Yeah, you may want to change that. And I've actually scored it based on that last fight. It was 4 going to that last fight. 6-4 to Queensbury. So that is interesting, to say the least. So, excellent. Yeah, let's see. The beers and snacks are all on the line here, Darren.
Yeah, so, let the games begin.
I know. I was going to say.
We'll have to
go on. Sorry, Darren.
I was going to say what we'll have to do is we'll have to see what beers and snacks we're asking for. I'll go for beer. I'll go Moretti, I think.
Oh, okay. Good choice. I don't mind. Peroni's good. The more expensive, the better. And snack choice. Any preference?
A lot of, for crisp, I'll go something like Thai rolls or something like that, or the kettle chips. I like them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very nice. I'm quite open. I'll eat anything, to be honest with you. You've seen it before. So
definitely
I was going to say to anyone else, please let us know your thoughts on the fight with comments below. You know, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, who's going to win, Queensbury or Matchroom. Darren, always thank you much for your time.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, good luck with those predictions. And everyone, again, please support the channel the best you can with the likes, subscriptions, and I said, if you can, put some comments down there. Let us know what you think of our predictions anyway. So, and enjoy the fights on Saturday. And thanks again, Darren.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
Steve Talks.